under pressure at work. It could be worse. You could have to risk your life to go in search of the dead, pull off back-breaking movie stunts, or make life and death decisions at war. Pressure goes with the territory. Most of us can only dream of travelling to the ends of the earth. But for a rare few, it's a day job. Don't worry, the privilege doesn't come cheap, in more ways than one. If you fancy going off the beaten track, there are few places as isolated as Morobi, Papua New Guinea in the South Pacific. This is where Ala Lohmann is headed for her latest assignment. She's an adventure photographer.
It will be very dangerous. It's already dangerous enough because there's no help if something happens. Nobody will get us out here.
This job is about pushing geographical and physical boundaries to get results. She shoots and writes magazine articles and film documentaries, but only in the weirdest of places. Today, she's in search of the dead and may end up that way herself if she's not careful. You might think, if a petite German woman can do it, surely anyone can. But Ala is tough and trained in survival techniques. It's day one on the ground, and her guide, Toxie, announces the first hitch of many. The local buses aren't running.
And now we have to wait here for 1 or 2 days before we find even transport to get closer to the mummy area. That's going to be a trip.
Like the good explorer that she is, she turns the problem into an opportunity to rest up. She's carrying 20,000 euros worth of camera gear. No room in the bag for anything personal. Only one change of underwear. Ala is hoping to find a village in the Morobi province fabled for its ancient mummies. It's only around 200 kilometres away, but it will take 18 hours in this terrain. She's a walking studio. Digital reflex and underwater cameras, solar-powered battery packs, a GPS tracking system, laptop, rewritable CDs, and basic camping gear. She's stronger than she looks, which is a good job.
It was raining the entire week, so the rivers are really flooded. And I just slipped in the river and I got carried away with the stream. I was a bit afraid for a while, but we should be right now. There's one more river to cross, that's all.
Some training in fieldcraft and survival is vital. Not to mention dogged determination. And you need to be good at planning. On an expedition of this kind, it can make the difference between life and death. Ala and Toxie fail to make the village before nightfall. They'll have to camp out in the jungle, along with a host of venomous spiders, scorpions and snakes. But it's a risk she must take. Ala's invested over 10,000 euros of her own money on this. If she doesn't find the mummies and doesn't get them on film, it will all be for nothing. But the next day brings the reward. She's made it. There are hundreds of small tribal groups in Papua New Guinea. Some have fierce reputations as warriors, often killing each other in tribal fights. They seem friendly towards Ala though, even armed with a 10 to 24mm wide-angle lens. Getting up close to the mummies won't be so easy. Time to prepare the mountaineering gear. She needs to part with more money to cover the cost of local guides.
All right, good.
It's a deal. Ala wastes no time in getting going. It promises to be one of her more strange adventures. in search of a tribe that smokes its ancestors. They kick off with an 18-hour hike uphill in 80% humidity and a malaria-infested jungle. This is where you cross over from being a tourist into the serious business of adventure photography. 300 metres of vertical cliff face. She started photography at 8 years old. It's all she ever wanted to do, which helps at moments like this. She's also been climbing for years and travelling with no backup. So she's used to what it feels like to fight the urge to turn back. She's been told that this tribe place their mummies on rock ledges. But there's nothing here. A few skeletal remains, but nothing worth preserving. Has she been sent on a wild goose chase?
I was hoping to find some mummies up here. I'm a little bit disappointed.
The bones may still have some cultural and scientific value. No point wasting an opportunity. Undeterred, she's off to check out another site. It pays off. She finds her treasure. Painted, smoked mummies. This tribe believes the dead are part of this world. And for Ala, whose father committed suicide when she was a child, it's an emotional moment.
It's an amazing feeling to be able to be so close to death and still to be able to fear this person.
This is a professional high too. The first photographs of these mummies. And a chance to help preserve them forever by telling their story to the world. Finding these mummies began with 3 years of research and ended with 12 days travelling on foot through hostile terrain. But she pulled it off. A tribal leader helps her out with a few facts about a dying tradition. Smoking the mummies to preserve them is a way of keeping the dead in the living world. These people think it's important to display death openly. One person's superstition is another's job opportunity. Ala's photos could fetch a few €1,000 if she markets them right. But in her line of work, every job is a gamble. Coming up later, a way to get a more regular paycheck, if you're willing to kill and be killed. But first, riding horses for a living sounds great. But this next trade is tougher than it looks. Buckinghamshire, England, home of the Devil's Horseman stunt riders. Meet Dante and Cuba, both Lusitano horses from Portugal. And Daniel Naprous, stunt rider to the movies, TV and live audiences.
You've got to put so many hours at home riding your horse, getting up in the morning, make sure the horse is all right. If he's ill, you're up all night with it.
That's Daniel and his dad, who taught him everything he knows. Daniel could ride before he could walk. That's why he knows how to do this. And this. The big screen loves him. He's done stunts for Tomb Raider, 007, Troy and Batman Begins. A top stunt rider can command over €70,000 a year. But to be like Daniel, you need years of experience and not to be afraid of getting hurt. The worst injury was breaking his collarbone when he got his foot caught and was dragged behind a horse.
Because I grew up with it. I've done it all my life. My father did it before me.
Most of the time, special stunt riding gear will help you stay in one piece.
You see, this is a trick saddle. Here you've got the pommels either side. You've got 3 girths, and it's all made out of very thick leather, which is called chrome, which stretches and shouldn't snap. The girths are spread so it doesn't lift, so it stays nice and comfy for the horse. Got plastic stirrups there to protect, so there's no banging.
Daniel trains every one of his 60 horses himself. Does this man ever sleep? A trained horse needs a trained rider. Daniel spends much of his time girding his team of stunt riders into shape for special public shows.
Just warm up gently, just nice and gently for the horses. I'm going to bolt on this one. Yeah, one at a time.
There are around 300 stunt performers in Britain, but Daniel is one of the best and in constant demand. When you're handling some of the most powerful horses in the business, it can help to be pushing 2 meters tall. The rest of it is down to skill and to learning techniques by rote.
It's like anything, if you have a basic knowledge of something, you can practice doing that, and when that gets a bit stressful for them, it's difficult, you come back to what they know, and you do that for a little bit, so they're calm and relaxed, and you ask them to do the other thing again. And from that, it's not a big shock.
Living around horses all your life is a bonus.
And each one does their own individual thing. They find it easier to do than another one. It's just like humans. Some people are more academic than others. So it's the same thing when we got the big running shot. You use a horse that can cover the distance, no problem, and enjoys it. So each one's got his own little personality. Some you get on with, some you don't get on so well with. So we'll start off, so I'm going to be on this side, you're in the middle.
Could you hang between the legs of a 700-kilo horse at full gallop? It's an idea to perfect it in slow motion first.
Back sit here, and then down.
A dismount and remount looks easy, but wait until the horse is moving.
You're going to do a tremendous...
You need to be fit, strong and mentally tough.
Memorized. OK.
Hitting the deck is a certainty, but you'll never get a stunt rider to talk about falling off. It's bad luck and bad business to talk about accidents.
Things like that. That's better again. Try and do 2 this time. One after another.
Time for the master to demonstrate how it's done. Even a pro like Daniel can still clock off with bruises and sore muscles. The simplest of moves takes hours of choreography and practice to get it perfect and avoid injury to actor, rider and horse. After 6 hours hard training, time to prepare equipment for a shoot later in the week. In a back room, Daniel's got a prop for every imaginable stunt. Western saddles, chainmail saddles for films like King Arthur, trick saddles, side saddles, combat saddles, you name it.
Here we have a side saddle we made for a film.
Some of these have graced very famous bottoms.
There's another side saddle here. We made this one for Tomb Raider 2, the Lara Croft saddle.
One of the best perks of the job is designing and making props yourself, like this Ben-Hur-style chariot of fire. Daniel does it all. Single horse tricks, multiple horse stunts, chariots, battle scenes, and his off-road skills are second to none.
Steady, steady. Whoa, boys. That is a great thing about this. You can work in our industry with films or shows. You get to explore the boundaries of different things you can do. You've got to enjoy it, otherwise there's no point turning up for work, is there?
Apparently, someone once said, there's nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse. Stunt riding certainly looks like a great way to spend your time, but you need to be willing to devote your whole life to perfecting your art. Time wasters need not apply. Now for a totally different kind of pressure. Welcome to the Royal Navy in the UK. On the plus side, you get to see the world. On the downside, working on board a warship isn't what you'd call a pleasure cruise. Off the southwest coast of Cornwall, HMS Westminster prepares for manoeuvres. Keeping the 185 crew shipshape and primed for war is Lieutenant Commander Yvonne Gray, 35 years old and number 3 on board. Arguably, Yvonne has one of the best jobs on the ship.
And I fight the ship for the captain. So if we go into a hostile area, I basically orchestrate the people around me to effectively fight the ship, whether that be to defend another unit that can't defend itself, to defend ourselves against incoming missiles or aircraft or submarines or surface vessels, or to conduct boarding operations like we're doing in the Gulf.
In her 12-year Navy career, Yvonne has served in the Adriatic and the Persian Gulf. Being in command of a big boy's toy must be a thrill, but it carries with it an obvious burden of responsibility. HMS Westminster is designed to track and destroy submarines. After a €37 million refit, she's now a multi-purpose sea-air destroyer in a class of her own. The reality for the people who work the controls? Constant pressure of training for war.
So give him half an hour or so and then preserve hours for night flights,
Yeah.
which 21:45.
Do you want to look at relaunching him, or do you want to conserve his hours? That line as the sort of 2IC of the whatever, because they're calling for Radhouse and everything. Don't worry about it, Danny.
For €63,000 a year, it's Yvonne's job to make sure the ship's weapons are fully operational. You need to be good at managing both downwards, keeping your crew motivated, and managing upwards, keeping your commanding officer fully briefed on likely enemy tactics.
Thank you.
At the moment doing basic operational sea training, which is a 7-week period of basically putting the ship through its paces, giving it every conceivable emergency operation that it might ever encounter in its life to make sure that we can react to any given threat, whether it be an incoming missile or a fire in the engine room.
Warfare is the ship's biggest and toughest department. Be prepared for 20-hour shifts. Having an off day in this job means one of the crew may be getting the protocol wrong. For example, in how to launch a deadly torpedo defence system. Quad Harpoon missile launchers, vertical launched Seawolf anti-missile systems and magazine-launched anti-sub torpedo tubes are the tools of this trade. And above deck, a Merlin helicopter for air defence.
A Merlin helicopter is another form of weapon for the ship. It extends our range. Because obviously we'll be in, say, A, but we can put the helicopter in B, so we extend our effect, we extend our range, we extend our fighting capability. So it's got a range of weapons for the anti-surface and anti-subsurface environment.
Built for stealth, a sleek 133 metres in length with a minimal radar signature. Responsibility falls to Yvonne to keep HMS Westminster battle ready, and today's ship's company is on standby for action.
From Wednesday.
She can't afford to get tense waiting for the code red. The tiny ops cabin doubles as Yvonne's office and sleeping quarters.
TOEIC starts at 8:30 until 10, and then they go straight from that into the RAS at 11.
Tango, this is Alpha Whiskey, copy, check engaging, track.
Captain calls code red for warfare protocol. With the signal to go, Yvonne is now in full control of the ship's firepower.
Air threat warning red, air threat warning red.
A threat could come from the sea surface, the air or underwater.
Surface remained white. Force did come under probe from...
It all started as a young sea cadet at home in Harrogate, Northern England. 20 years on, she's in the hot seat.
Time on top at minute 25 in 18 minutes' time. That attack likely to come from the east, which is presently on the ship's stern.
This is no game. On Yvonne's word, millions of euros worth of missiles, torpedoes and depth charges will be deployed.
Not yet in Brownier airspace. Read warning 4 again. Somebody goes as 130 and the threat is coming from the east.
During this war training, Yvonne takes the pressure for captain and country. She'll get 4 hours sleep now before the captain signals code red again tonight. What's in it for her?
We work with some fantastic people, we get to do some fantastic things, and to be able to work in that kind of environment all of the time is just something that most people would pay for.
It's a job that can widen your horizons in more ways than one. But the stress involved in being a weapons commander would be too much for most. This is a rare job for a rare personality. Three jobs, 3 ways to turn up the pressure. It takes a steady hand and an iron will to go to war, whether for real or for the movies. But when success means gentle and tough, try mummy hunting for size.